Hey, what's going on, guys? So, I finally got around to watching the Thunderbolts as well as the Fantastic Four when it came out on streaming. I know I'm far behind, but I've been kind of busy the last few months. And honestly, I liked them both. They were pretty good. Not fantastic, but it got me excited for the first time in a long time for the MCU and the future of it. So, it got me thinking, and I like to do these like creative exercises. I did one previously with Superman where I predicted the plot of Superman. If you go back in our channel, you can see that previously before the movie came out. And I'm going to do the same thing with Avengers Doomsday. There's no hard spoilers for this. I'm only going to be using, I guess, the current canon or what's known in the MCU as the characters and what they've announced publicly, like Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom. But I guess potential spoilers for Avengers Doomsday. Yeah, let's get into it. We open the film with the Thunderbolts responding to a distress call from New Asgard. As they get there, they're surprised to see a newly formed Avengers team led by Sam Wilson. It's comprised of Ant-Man, Shang-Chi, and Shuri. In an ideal world, we would have gotten an entire movie or film dedicated to him assembling this team, but since we don't, and I'm working with what we have in real life, this is what we got. The new Avengers team in the Thunderbolts realize that it's a Chitauri and Ultron bot army attacking New Asgard and are surprised as how could this be possible given that both of these prior enemies of the Avengers have already been defeated. As they take on the army, there's a short sequence of the two teams trying to work together. We see a little bit of comedic. It's more lighthearted. Think like the opening scene of Age of Ultron where it's just like them in their powers. We establish them, their dynamics. As the army begins to get stronger and there's more of them, Thor arrives, destroying the remaining forces. Thor responded to the distress call as well, as New Asgard contacted him, being he's their warrior. Valkyrie emerges and says a masked man was seeking the most powerful Asgard as she approaches Thor after the battle. Thor, angry that someone attacked his home, seeks out for more information as he goes across Earth searching for who could have done this. The Thunderbolts return to New York City, where they arrive at Avengers Tower, and then this is where we see the end credit scene from the Thunderbolts movie, where they see the Fantastic Four arriving in their ship, crossing the multidimensional plane. Bucky calls Sam Wilson immediately for backup, as he realizes that this is bigger than what they can handle. Sam says he's going to contact Captain Marvel and the Hulk as well, to ensure that they have all the power they need to combat this multidimensional threat. The Fantastic Four arrive and present themselves as friendly. There's just a quick exchange where they explain that Doctor Doom has stolen their youngest son, Franklin Richards, and that he is a danger to the multiverse and that they all need to work together. Before we can see any further, the movie skips to another dimension where we see Doctor Doom attacking and destroying the X-Men's mansion. He uses Sentinels, the giant robots from movies like Days of Future Past, and an iconic villain of the X-Men's as well. We realize that Doctor Doom is using the multi-dimensional villains of each universe against their respective heroes. As the Sentinels destroy the X-Men's mansion and combat the X-Men, he goes to the basement lair where Cerebro, the machine used by Charles Xavier to locate mutants. Dr. Doom breaks into Cerebro, stealing it before disappearing into another multidimensional portal. We cut back to a scene of Thor searching Earth for any information he can on the masked figure who attacked New Asgard. He goes to one of his only few remaining friends on Earth, Star-Lord, who after the events of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 moved back in with his grandfather. This could be a lighthearted scene as Thor uses Stormbreaker to arrive at Star-Lord's grandfather's house, as we see a startled Peter Quill surprised to see Thor as he's doing something embarrassing, like playing Dance Dance Revolution. This would be a lighthearted scene as Thor explains the situation to Star-Lord, stating that there's someone looking for the most powerful Asgardian there is, and of course, Thor believes that's him, given he's a little arrogant. We will come to find out that's not true. The two of them return back to the new Avengers Tower, where they're surprised to see so many other heroes. I would really take this time and for the rest of the first act and just establish the heroes and give the audience some connection to them, as a lot of them, like Shang-Chi and Shuri and a few other characters, we've only really got one movie with, so I would take the next 5 to 10 minutes of the film and just really show the different personalities, how they intermingle, and why we should care about these characters. But eventually the heroes are approached by Reed Richards, who addresses the group, stating that Doctor Doom is a threat not only to their universe, but all universes throughout the multiverse, and he's stolen their son. Of course, the heroes take it seriously, given that this isn't their first time saving the world, and they all agree to work together. They decide to split it into two teams. One team which is the new Avengers, which is again Sam Wilson's Captain America, Shang-Chi, Shuri, Ant-Man, and Captain Marvel, will take the Fantastic Four ship to the X-Men universe where Doctor Doom is believed to be, as Reed Richards is tracking his location. When they need someone to pilot the Fantastic Four ship, Star-Lord raises his hand, given any chance to show off his piloting skills, as he states to be the best pilot in the entire universe. Everyone rolls their eyes at that. It could be, again, another comedic scene. So those 6 get in the Fantastic Four ship to go to the X-Men's universe. The remaining heroes, which are the Fantastic Four, the Thunderbolts, Hulk, and Thor, stay, as Reed Richards has an idea for how to trap Dr. Doom and what to do for when to locate him. Dr. Doom uses Cerebro to get inside the heads of everyone, or the minds of everyone within the multiverse. He can use this device to address everyone and speak to them within their subconscious. As he explains his plan and how he's going to save them, he's their only salvation from the events of Infinity War and Endgame, explaining that the Avengers tampering with space and time is why they're in this mess, and the reasoning for all of the incursions happening across the multiverse. He then dials in, just addressing the heroes at Avengers Tower, as a mental image of Dr. Doom appears before them. We see he's not actually there, but in their minds they're all seeing him, so he can speak to them without actually being physically in the room. Doom addresses Reed Richards. We have a great back and forth dialogue scene as both of them are explaining their philosophy of why each other's wrong and why each of them sees themselves as a hero, as the Thunderbolts, Thor, and Hulk watch the Fantastic Four have a mild battle of wits with Dr. Doom right there in Avengers Tower. Concluding that, Dr. Doom states that there's no way he can stop them, as he's used Cerebro to find the strongest Asgardian. Thor laughs, claiming that he's standing right there before him, and Doom looks at the smug god, stating that he's not the strongest, that his brother Loki is actually the ruler of the multiverse, given he's in the multiversal tree currently, and that he went to Asgard to find Loki. When he realized Loki wasn't there, he used Cerebro to find Loki throughout the multiverse. Thor, shocked and angry at the idea of Dr. Doom harming his brother, who he thought was dead, challenges him, but before he can, Dr. Doom gets a hold of the Sentry's mind. For those of you that didn't see Thunderbolts, Sentry is a new hero who's within the Thunderbolts, who's probably the strongest superhero that we've seen yet in the MCU. Doom, getting inside Sentry's mind, turns the Sentry against the heroes as a distraction to keep them from locating him. As the Sentry goes wild, attacking the Fantastic Four, Thor, and Hulk across New York City. There's a brief battle. I think it'd be cool. You could have, obviously a fight scene with the Thunderbolts doing damage control. And while that happens, it draws the attention of Spider-Man, who, as we recall from No Way Home, none of the heroes remembered Spider-Man. So the only way for me to get him organically into this film was to have a battle at some point within New York City. Spider-Man swings out, trying to subdue Sentry as well, but of course, none of them are powerful enough. The fight and the battle only ends when Yelena, the new Black Widow, is able to calm Sentry down, just as the way the old Black Widow did with the Hulk. Amidst the battle, they look around, and Sentry's ashamed to see the destruction he's caused and how vulnerable his mind is to Dr. Doom, as Spider-Man joins this new group of Avengers team. Cut back to the Avengers team as they're cutting through the multi-dimensional plane in the Fantastic Four ship. You have Captain. I think this would be a good idea to establish their relationships in the dynamics. Granted, we've never seen these heroes work together, as it is kind of rushed. But we have Captain Marvel trying to take charge of the group immediately, only for Sam Wilson to argue back to her that he's the formal leader of the Avengers and that he's in charge. And then Peter Quill can make a joke saying that he's actively driving the ship that they're in, so he's technically the captain. As the three of them fight over who's in charge, you could have Ant-Man explain to the younger heroes, Shang-Chi and Shuri's Black Panther, that he's happy to show them the ropes as he's always been an Avenger, only for Shuri to call him a boomer or make some kind of joke at his expense as the two younger heroes laugh at Ant-Man. Again, I just think it's really important that we establish the dynamic of these heroes before we get them thrusted into a conflict as they arrive at X-Men's mansion, where the X-Men are recovering from Dr. Doom's attack, wary of any future adversaries that show up. Just as they are, of course, the Fantastic ships arrive, and the new Avengers team exits the ship. Cyclops addresses the new Avengers team and threatens them as Sam Wilson tries to do his delegation. We saw in the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, he's like a good mediator, so I would use that. But of course, things go south as Captain Marvel attacks them, and then we get an action scene between the X-Men and the Avengers. This would be a great back and forth scene, but the X-Men would have the upper hand. Granted, they've worked together in the past and work as a team, showing the flaws within Sam Wilson's Avengers. As we go back to New York, we see Spider-Man and Reed fix the device that was broken when Dr. Doom used Cerebro to attack. I think it'd just be fun to see the two of them, Brainiacs, have a conversation and just have Spider-Man work with someone that's smarter than him. Maybe just rekindle a little bit of that dynamic between him and Tony in the earlier films. While that's going on, Thor and Hulk reflect on being last of the original Avengers. Again, just have a conversation, the two of them, as they look over the New York skyline and recall the day the Chitauri attacked. As these characters have been with us for the last 15, 20 years, and they've grown substantially, and just have a conversation reflecting that, as this will be one of the last films with both of them. As they fix the machine, Spider-Man states he's going to stay behind as he needs to look out for the little guy and has learned his lesson that he needs to just be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. As well as the Thunderbolts, who've stated that if Dr. Doom can get inside Sentry's head again, they're more of a liability than they are an asset. So they decide to stay behind, leaving just the Fantastic Four, Thor, and the Hulk to step into the device or the portal, transporting them to the multiversal tree that was seen at the end of Loki. Loki is sitting on the throne, holding the tree's branches together as he's a single individual keeping the multiverse together, which again was the finale of the Loki series. Thor approaches Loki. Loki is currently in like a coma-like state. He's like out of it, almost unconscious. As Thor touches Loki, Thor is overwhelmed seeing all the memories of the Loki series, as Thor gets to see how his brother has grown throughout the series, and the two of them mentally transport to Asgard, where they reconnect in their mental state. While that's happening, Dr. Doom arrives at the multiversal tree, and the Fantastic Four and the Hulk need to keep him away from Loki, because Dr. Doom's goal is to get to the multiversal tree and destroy the multiverse. So the Hulk and Fantastic Four engage in a battle with Dr. Doom to keep him at bay, while Thor can pull Loki out of this coma-like state. As we reach the finale, the Avengers and X-Men continue to fight, but are stopped as an incursion begins in the sky, looking like it's splitting the sky apart. While this happens, Monica Rambeau emerges from the rubble of the X-Men mansion. Her and Carol Danvers know each other from the previous films, and then at the end of the Marvels, and I didn't see the film, but I know at the end credits scene, Monica Rambeau is transported into the X-Men universe and sees the character Beast. So that's how the two teams are going to stop fighting, is Monica Rambeau and Carol Danvers recognize each other and therefore convince each respective team that they need to work together. While this is going on, an incursion begins in New York City, as just as Spider-Man and the Thunderbolts thought their problems were over, they're just beginning. As the sky within Earth 616 begins to tear itself apart. Spider-Man informs the Thunderbolts that he might know of someone that can help as they go to the Sanctum Sanctorum, which is also located in New York. When arriving there, they meet Wong, and there's a brief fight as Wong has assembled his own team of street-level heroes such as Daredevil, Miss Marvel, Kate Bishop, and maybe She-Hulk, Moon Knight, whoever. Mostly the Disney Plus character shows, which I think it's likely since most of them live in New York City, like Daredevil, Kate Bishop, Miss Marvel. Think of it as a brief, 10, 20-second fight, but it's stopped when Kate Bishop recognizes Yelena as the two of them met in the Hawkeye series. Daredevil, of course, looks at Spider-Man, saying he recognizes him from across the city and appreciates the work that each other does. I really want to get Daredevil and Spider-Man in the same scene, so that's why I made this happen. Wong explains that this is an incursion. They know about this from Multiverse of Madness, the previous film, and he also knows of a girl named America Chavez, which was in Multiverse of Madness, and she has the ability to transport universes. So she will use her powers to get this group of heroes into the multiversal tree, where they've stated that Loki is being held and attacked by Dr. Doom. As we get to the climax of the film, we cut back to the multiversal tree where Doctor Doom is defeating the Fantastic Four. I think it's important that they have a one-on-one fight with Doom before all the other heroes get there, just because he is like their iconic villain. Just as they're about to lose, Thor pulls Loki from the tree as Loki emerges from his coma-like state and is free to assist the heroes as Thor and Loki join the fight. And then, just as they're about to join, a ship bursts through a multi-dimensional portal as the Fantastic Four recognize their own ship, driven by the new Avengers as well as the X-Men, crashing down, and the heroes pop out, arriving, ready to fight. And then, just in an endgame-like fashion, with all the other heroes arriving, a star-like portal opens up. The star is recognized from Multiverse of Madness that America Chavez, her ability to transport dimensions. As Wong, Spider-Man, Daredevil, and the Thunderbolts, and all the other street-level heroes that we saw previously emerge, ready to assist the heroes to take down Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom smirks smugly under his mask as he sees the collective group of heroes. There's near 40 or 50 of them at this point, as he summons the army of Chitauri, Ultron bots, and the Sentinels, each of the universe's respective villains emerging in an army to face the army of heroes. One of the things I would do to make this final battle more distinguishable than previous films, because at this point we've seen half a dozen films of the Avengers fighting a nameless, faceless army of like Chitauri, Ultron bots, or whichever, is to have the Sentinels and Ultron bots merge into one giant figure as they all come, they all are like working together in tangent. You can see in the top right corner, it's pulled from the concept art of Age of Ultron, where the idea was the Ultron bots would form a giant mega bot, as they were free to break off individually and fight or work together as one giant entity. I think it's a really creative idea, and just again would make this fight a little more distinguishable. As the heroes battle the Megabot, some of the street level heroes fight the Chitauri like Daredevil and obviously like Kate Bishop's Hawkeye or Yelena. They're not going to be able to fight this giant robot, so you could play with it as you want. But the idea is that Doom uses Franklin Richards, who he's been keeping safe this whole time, to get to the throne at the base of the multiversal tree. He puts Franklin Richards there, winning the battle, as Franklin Richards grabs the branches and is able to converge the multiverse into one world, creating Battle World. In addition, Doom becomes God Doom, which you can see at the bottom right. He turns into a white cloak from green to white, as his face is now healed and his mask falls, revealing Robert Downey Jr. This shocks the heroes as they see it's been Tony Stark this whole time, those that recognize him. Thor goes and plunges his axe into God Doom. As being the strongest hero, he thinks he's the one to defeat him, only for God Doom to reverse the situation, and Thor realizes he's bleeding out, falling to the ground as his own axe is in his chest. Loki screams for once seeing his brother fall as he goes to assist Thor. With Thor's last dying breath, he says, "You are worthy." Having seen all the memories from the Loki series, Thor knows that his brother has changed and is fighting for good, as one of the last things he sees is Loki lifting Mjolnir, the hammer that can only be lifted if you are truly pure of heart and worthy. Loki lifts it, summoning the thunder that Thor once used to fight against this Tony Stark God Doom. I think it'd be really cool to see full circle, not only of Thor being the one to tell Loki he's worthy, but also for him to be the one to attack this Tony Stark, because in the original Avengers film, we saw Tony beating Loki, or Tony, being the leader against Loki, and now we see Loki fighting this multiversal Tony Stark. As Tony goes to attack God Doom, it's too late, as Franklin Richards converges the multiverse into Battle World, and the film ends with the heroes losing. And for the end credit scene, we have Tom Holland's Spider-Man being awoken by Doctor Strange. For some reason, Benedict Cumberbatch, he wasn't listed as an actor for Avengers Doomsday. I don't think he's going to be a part of it. So my explanation for why he wasn't in this film is he was too busy assembling a team of multiversal heroes, as he will be in Secret Wars. So he's assembled Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Deadpool. I think the sky's the limit with the multiversal hero team. And maybe have them pair up with the Avengers. It'd be really cool to see Hugh Jackman work with like Steve Rogers, Tony Stark. Yeah, I hope you guys like this. Again, this is just something I do for fun. Leave a comment if you liked it, if you didn't like it, what you would change, what you do differently. All right, see you next time.